What's up, everybody? It's Sergio here with 8Z Real Estate, and we're going to take a little different approach. Usually we interview local entrepreneurs and businesses to talk about what they're doing and their story. But right now, I also want to kind of shift focus and talk to some local businesses about how they're adapting in the current landscape. And this one's near and dear to my heart because our office here at 8Z in Denver is right across the street. So I go into this restaurant almost 3 times a week, and I'm constantly eating their cookies and their burritos. So if you haven't stopped in and try it, you're going to go in after this because I promise you it's going to be worth it. But I wanted to introduce you two ladies. I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Tell me, who you guys are and a little bit about yourself. How did this whole thing come about?
Go ahead, Amber. You can start.
Well, I'm Amber. I am the catering and events manager at Just Be Kitchen. I've been kind of running the background type things that are going on. But Jennifer has really been the one that has spearheaded all the things that we're doing right now. So I'll let her kind of explain what has been going on.
Well, Amber says that she's in the background, but everybody gets to see all the fruition of everything that she works on. So through our wellness events. But I'm Jennifer. I'm the owner of Just Be Kitchen. I come from a corporate background, so I don't have a long history in restaurants, but I had a desire to close the gap between who I was and what I did. And I've been on a food journey my whole life. So I decided to create a restaurant with the food that I really desired. And that's where I'm at, which really feels like jumping off of a crazy cliff.
That's awesome. I mean, my grandparents used to own a restaurant. So I've been in the restaurant industry as Italian. So I've been a busboy since I was like 10. But what I love about your restaurant is, so I found paleo 10 years ago. I used to be like 190 pounds. And so I got paleo and I love it. And so when I walked in and saw your restaurant, I was like, ooh, I can get behind this. So was there something that kind of led you down that path to have this type of food? Was it something that, maybe impacted your life, or is you just like eating that way?
So I was a vegetarian for 17 years.
Okay.
And I then went vegan for 2 years. And when I went vegan, and I have nothing against a plant-based diet, and this was well before there was like some good plant-based alternatives as well. I just kind of went backwards on my health journey, and I was eating things like Oreos, which happen to be vegan. But I just didn't feel like I was making healthy choices. And so I started to put on weight, and I was a semi-competitive athlete. And so I went to a holistic nutritionist who was on my team, and he started to put me on basically a paleo diet, although we didn't really call it that.
Okay.
And then, so I started incorporating animal protein, and I really found that my performance on the pitch accelerated, and I lost weight, and I felt really good. And essentially I just got frustrated then that I couldn't really choose to eat this way, particularly with like a lot of the healthy fats in restaurants. And so that, coupled with the fact that in parallel, most of my life I've lived overseas. And so food has always been really about travel for me. And it's like a very emotional experience. And I love new flavors and tasting just exciting dishes. And so that, and then the third prong was just getting to a point in my life where I wanted to do something more meaningful. Like I could have stayed and made 6 figures and had a very comfortable life, but I just felt like something was really missing. And so I just started to explore how I actually went to MBA school and started to explore like what kind of career direction I could change into. And this was a class project in school, and then it just became reality.
I love that. Kind of like redefining what success means. It's not just about wanting, it's about being happy and like having which there's plenty of my friends who have, it's so interesting. Plenty of my friends have walked in and we've met there for lunch, and they're like, yeah, I found this place because, I used to have seizures because of certain foods, or like I couldn't do it. And they found your restaurant, and it's like, it's a staple in their life. And
that's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're having a big impact on people's lives, and to know that the reason you got into it was, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. That's heart touching to me. I think that's really cool because I can.
I think I think everybody goes through this in life at some point, like you just sort of have a reset about what you're doing. Well, for me, the challenge when I was like, this isn't meaningful, being in the corporate, like what I was doing in the corporate world, It wasn't meaningful enough. I did want to serve others. And I know that sounds really cliche, but the big challenge that I had was I didn't have a cause like close enough to my heart, or, I mean, God bless me, I didn't have like a family member that died of something that just I felt really tied to, that I felt a cause for, until I realized, hey, you know, one of the things that I really enjoy and that I love and that I get excited about is, you know, food. Don't buy me clothes, send me on a trip and have me eat all the food on that trip. And that's sort of where I was like, well, maybe food can be my cause, because this is what's meaningful for me. And it's such an emotional experience. And, you know, people come into the restaurant and they cry because they haven't been able to eat, you know, biscuits and gravy or a burrito in 20 years. And I just love that.
That's pretty awesome. That's got to feel good. That's got to feel very fulfilling.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. It's amazing. It's a lot of responsibility, because we've realized how much guests really need to eat this way, which was not something that was necessarily high on my list when I created Just Be Kitchen.
Yeah.
But we really honor that, and it makes us move forward because our guests are so full of gratitude.
Yeah. And I mean, so speaking of your guests, you've probably built a pretty strong community out of these people. I know I've seen it personally, you know, in amongst my circle of friends. How is the current situation, you know, impacting that? And what are some of the things that you have done to adapt with COVID, and you know, what's going on?
Well, so there's no handbook on how to handle a pandemic when you own a restaurant.
If there was, we should write it, because at this point, I think we might have some idea.
Yeah, there's no handbook and there's no training course. So we've just pivoted and innovated, you know. Back in January, I felt like this was actually going to become a bit of a problem. And so it's interesting, like the week before we actually got shut down, I was doing some disaster planning in the background. And I actually had an all staff call the night before the governor announced that we would be shut down, but I had planned on it being 2 weeks, not 8 weeks. So we had some ideas already in the works, just based on a hunch that I had. And I had some friends, I think probably because I'd lived internationally, I'd had some international friends talking about like how bad it was. I had some friends coming into the US from Korea without getting checked at all. Some friends coming in from China. And so I was just like, oh, and they were worried. They were like, we didn't get checked or anything. So I sort of started planning, and the thing about crisis is it exposes the things that you have really good in your business, and it exposes the things that you don't have really good. And I'm very grateful for that. The thing that we had really well is we had good infrastructure. And so we were able to turn delivery on with the flick of a switch on that first Monday. It had actually been something that we were planning to launch for about 1.5 years, and we're hoping to do so by summer. So we just accelerated that plan. And then we just put in motion some of the ideas that I had been quietly disaster planning the week before. And it takes a lot of resilience, and it takes some really honest and frank conversations with your team, because, you know, I had been told by multiple other owners of restaurants, just shut down, like preserve the cash, just shut down.
Like shut down the restaurant entirely?
Yeah, totally. Because you're looking at your cash burn. So you have to, you know, and there's realities to this, like not to get too technical, but, you know, if you have a bank loan, which I do, it's typically tied to your house, and you get to a point where like, okay, I can't let the bank account get so low that I'm going to have a problem paying the loan, and then my house gets taken away. Right. So there's a lot of, I can't speak for other owners, but those are the kinds of concerns that are going through multiple small business owners' minds. It's like, okay, when like, we don't know the uncertainty in this, and if it all starts crumbling, like I have everything on the line, because business owners pretty much personally guarantee everything, their lease, their loans, everything. So there's a lot at risk. And if you shut down, you preserve your cash, and you can hopefully just wait it out, you know. But the flip side to that is you look at your team, and you know, they don't want to not work. Actually, I think that some owners probably had staff that felt scared, you know, coming in. And so I said, how does everyone feel? They're like, we want to work. And I said, okay, then let's do this, because not everything is black and white in life, right? I said, there's everyone's saying shut down or stay open. I'm like, we can have an in-between, which is we have a goal to meet every day. And if we don't meet this goal for multiple days in a row, or an entire week looks bad, then we have to reevaluate if we stay open or not. But I promise you, I will work my tail off, and I know you guys will too, to try to stay open. And so that's what we did. And so now it's kind of cool because they've rallied behind the financial figures that we need to get each day. They're conscious of it. They're concerned of it. They're helping to manage that. And we, just had an honest conversation. It's day by day. And we just keep launching things that luckily right now are working.
Yeah. Thank you for being vulnerable and kind of sharing that about kind of the struggles you're going through. And the thoughts that you had to take to kind of keep your restaurant open. Amber shared some stuff with me the other day about the things that you guys are doing, which I think are really cool. Right. And I think that's, I'd like to talk about those, like the dinner boxes, right? Yeah. I think that's incredible, because if people can't come in and they, maybe they want to do something else. So can you talk, Amber or, Jennifer, talk about a little bit about the dinner boxes, or I think there's one other one, right? The meal prep box.
Yeah. So we launched, so we got shut down on Monday the 16th. This is very clear in my mind. On that day we launched delivery. So that was a whole new thing that we started undertaking. We also on the same day launched family meal deal boxes. So you can get 4 various boxes that are family meal size. So there's those 2 launches on that first day. Then we came out the following week with weekly prepped meals, which again, in times of crisis, it's a fantastic time to innovate. Weekly prepped meals is something that our customers have been asking for us for, 2 years now.
Yeah.
And nothing like a crisis to accelerate those ideas. And so we launched it, and we're now in week 4, which I can't believe. So we launched that the following week. And then last week, which was huge for us and so fun, is we teamed up with a doctor from Prime Health Denver, and we've launched something called an immunity box, where we have designed meals specifically with nutrients linked to boosting the body's immunity. And we're not trying to say that this will cure COVID or you won't get COVID if you eat this box, but it's chock full of nutrients and ingredients that are linked to boosting immunity and helping your body build a mount against defense or illnesses that come in, so it gives your body a better defense. So with that, people can buy those individually, but the really exciting thing is that we've set a target of 500 boxes for people to donate to frontline workers in grocery, law enforcement, and healthcare.
Yeah.
And so that's been amazing.
So can people log in? How do people buy the immunity box? Can you do a donation?
Yeah. So you do it. You go into justbekitchen.com. You can pick any date or time. We're kind of confined by our system, but you pick any day or time. And then on the scroll down menu, there's 2 choices: the immunity boxes for personal use or immunity boxes for donation. And then you can pick whether you want law, grocery, or healthcare to get the box. But awesome. Yeah.
Is there is it pretty easy for you guys to tell who places those orders?
Yeah, we can see the person who's booked it.
Cool.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do, if you're open to it, is anybody that buys a box from watching this, I'd like to match it and buy one as well.
Oh, awesome.
That
would be great.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
I was going to say, I just got chills because you said that.
So, I don't know. We'll talk offline about that, but however it works out, just let me know and I'll match it, and then we'll
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's been so fun to do that and to see. We actually had a healthcare worker call 2 days ago, and she was like, well, we would love to have this box, but we were thinking, would it be okay if we in my nursing department, if we raise funds and we bought the boxes for some of the patients that are having challenges, financially? And yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Like there's the beauty that's come from everybody during this is amazing.
And I don't want to overlook that the fact that your backs are against the wall in the sense that you tell me that you have to do a certain amount every day or else your doors can't stay open. And sorry, my allergies are kicking in.
I know, it's terrible. The season with allergies and COVID.
But what I'll say is, like, in a moment like that, when you could easily just retreat and play small, you figure out a way to give back to everybody else when you also need it. And I'm a big proponent of give what you need. So if you need love, give love. If you need help, give help. And I think it's so cool that you're doing that. And like, I want to honor that. I think that's pretty awesome. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
So you have, if people want to order food, they just go to Just Be Kitchen. And
justbekitchen.com, and then they hit order online.
Awesome. We'll have a link to that as well. Your breakfast burrito, I love that. And I had to stop coming in because I have a weakness. I see your cookies. I'm like, I'm just going to try it. And then I'm like, actually, I'll take 10. And I always have an intent to bring it home and give it to my fiance. But
have you tried the brownie?
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, the brownies are amazing.
Yeah. Is there anything that, I didn't bring up that you wanted to share about what you're doing, or, how we can support you? I want to make sure that, we capture that.
Well, one of the things, let me give Amber some credit here. Amber organizes all of our wellness events. And so one of the things that's been really amazing during this crisis is, I'm going to ping back and forth here for a minute, is that I've always wanted us to be seen or I've always thought of Just Be Kitchen as a wellness company, not just, and I hate to say just a restaurant, but I see us as a wellness company with food at the core of what we do. And I think in the crisis of a pandemic, the food that we provide is very nourishing, and it is about wellness. And, but a big piece of that is part of what Amber does for Just Be Kitchen, which is organizing wellness events. That is everything from, gut health to nutrition and mental health to how to make kombucha to sex and nutrition and everything in between. And so I think one of the things that's been challenging during this time is I created Just Be Kitchen partly. Another part of the reason was because I wanted to create a place of connection and belonging. Mm-hmm. And so without our traditional wellness events being able to happen because of COVID, it feels like disconnected from our customers to some degree. I just mean from that interaction, right? But what Amber does is she plans all these wellness events. And I would say, when we get back open, for everyone to really look at our calendar of events, because they're really beautiful opportunities for people to get together, whether that's about an issue that they're also dealing with, or just to find connection and belonging. We have so many guests that have found friendships from our wellness events. And I think a lot of people are going to be so eager for that kind of connection and belonging when we can all meet again.
Yeah. Amber, that's awesome that you put those together. I've been into your restaurant plenty of times. I didn't know about that. So it's definitely something I will keep an eye out for when this is over. Cause I struggled with mental health after my deployment to Afghanistan. And I'm a big proponent of it, working on it and being a part of a community. So, kudos to you for putting that together. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really cool to be able to work with all those practitioners or people who want to come in and do events like that, because ultimately we all have a connection because we're all into, the same food, which is what brings us all together. But we all have something that we may be struggling with, whether that's mental health or, other health issues that we're going through. So I do think it is really nice to have that place where you do feel connection, but also you're learning about something that you may be interested in or something that you're struggling with. So it's really cool to be able to do that.
Awesome. I appreciate you sharing that and putting that together. I know the group at large will love that. And especially when we can get around each other and hug each other for the first time. I didn't realize how much I missed hugs, and I didn't.
I know.
My dog is so sick of me.
Yeah, absolutely. So justbekitchen.com. And then are you guys on social media as well?
Oh yeah. Instagram and Facebook at Just Be Kitchen.
Awesome. I'll make sure to put that in there as well. I really appreciate you ladies taking the time. I know we all have things going on, and it means a lot, but
oh my gosh, thank you.
The community you've built's amazing, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and definitely look forward to seeing you both once this is over.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome.